limits have changed at all. And I said, what about on the high side? And he said, I like the high side. Bumpy or not, that's where I want to be tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's Thomas.
Well, the 9 and the 11, Dixon and Kanaan continue to battle wheel to wheel. They have had some very close calls out there on the 1.5 mile high banks of Texas. The side-by-side battling continues at Texas Motor Speedway. It's the Firestone 550 here on Versus. The top 5, Franchitti, Power, Briscoe, Patrick, and Dixon. And now let's get down to Robbie Floyd.
I want you to look at this, Bob. A cut tire for Mario Moraes. He lost 7 spots because he had to pull it in. One of the Newman Haas guys spotted it. But actually, when Takuma Sato crashed, Mario Moraes, his own teammate, ran over debris, cut the tire, lost 7 spots in the process. Went from 13th to 20th. Hasn't said much about the car. I think he was happy with it, but he's not happy with that cut tire. Had to go with the freshie. He's back out on the track in 20th.
But the good news from that is they caught the tire that it had a puncture in it and brought him in before he ended up in the fence as well.
And of course, all these cars have tire pressure sensors on all sets of tires on the wheels, and so there is an alarm on the dash as well as alarms on pit road that monitor all the time the tire pressures for that very reason. You really need at these kind of speeds to know, even if you've lost a few PSI, that can be really dangerous.
There's Alex Lloyd racing on the high side of Ryan Hunter-Ray, but just ahead is the 36 car of Bertrand Baguette. Let's give a shout out to him. He has gained 10 positions since the drop of the green flag. He started in 22nd position, and he is now up to 10th, and this is only his 3rd oval start. Bertrand Baguette there in the yellow and white. Rafa Matos battling alongside him. And also side-by-side racing.
Look at that, the Penske cars, that's Briscoe, the one following. We're on board right now with Briscoe. He just kind of washed up the racetrack on the high side a little bit.
Saw Will Power do that earlier. Here comes Dixon on the outside of Danica.
Well, obviously, the aerodynamic changes that they've made for the series last year that we didn't have here at Kentucky has absolutely allowed these guys to suck up on each other. Look at this. Danica, look at the run she has.
Gets a wiggle. See? Oh, that's because as soon as you get into that gap, the white line signifies the change in the banking. And if you just get on that white line in the banking section, it will definitely torque the car around.
And if you do it too many times, one time, you're not going to catch it.
Yeah.
Danica is running in 5th position, but all 5 cars, the top 5, running within 7/10 of a second. And you can see Dixon has used 5, and so has Danica.
Well, again, I was saying earlier about some of the aerodynamic changes that the series instituted, the league instituted last year at Kentucky, absolutely helped the competition and the side-by-side action we saw the end of last year. And that is definitely the case here.
Thomas Schechter is running in 9th position. He's having a good race. He was the pole sitter here in 2002, 3, and 5. Jack?
And Bob, I've been watching and analyzing Thomas Schechter as compared to Dario Franchitti. Now, Schechter has been consistently running about 2 to 3 miles an hour faster than Franchitti when he's out in the clear. I think what Schechter's doing right now is just exhibiting a lot of patience and maturity. Something Robbie Floyd we have not seen from him in the past. Let's check in with Robbie now.
Zig, what are you telling Danica?
Just tell him to look after the tires, try and stay with it. She's car's still pretty good. She's just working it. We just want to still got a long way to go, so we just want to save the tires, work the car.
What's she been saying to you?
She's pretty happy right now. She's not saying a lot. That's always a good thing when she doesn't say a lot, so we're happy.
Silence is golden, guys.
Ziggy's a veteran of IndyCar racing, has been around this sport a long time. Now calling the shots for Danica Patrick. It's Franchitti, Power, Briscoe, Dixon, and Patrick with 87 of 228 laps completed at Texas. Dario Franchitti is doing what he did most of the day at Indianapolis last Sunday. He has the rest of the field in his rearview mirrors. He is leading here at Texas Motor Speedway in the Firestone 550. He has a 0.2 of a second, or you can see the interval there from the onboard camera. Back to Will Power running third, rather second, Briscoe third, then Dixon, and Danica Patrick.
Now the question is, if we think back to Indianapolis, he had a low downforce setup, and if he was out front, he was good. But if he got back in traffic and didn't have as much downforce on that car, it made it where he'd fight it a little bit. If that happens here, you know, is he going that same direction here, Jan?
Now, the setups are so totally different that I doubt that's the case.
But there is a trade-off to downforce, drag, speed.
He did say he was one of the drivers that wanted to add downforce after last night's practice, but we said a lot of people.
I was going to say that was pretty much everybody.
All right, let's go through the field here. On Firestone through the field, Dario Franchitti currently running in 5th position. Was on the pole here last year and in 2004. His best finish, however, was 4th in 2004.
Now for Will Power, I talked to him yesterday. He said after all the miles he did in Indianapolis that his confidence has skyrocketed on the ovals. He feels much more comfortable.
And he is in a battle with his teammate Ryan Briscoe.
And Briscoe, you know, you just said what a good job Will Power's doing. I think this guy right here last year was the class of the field on these super speedways. And even though he came up short in Homestead of the championship and finishing second, he had a brilliant drive at Homestead.
Scott Dixon is the only Target Chip Ganassi driver to win here at Texas Motor Speedway. Has led 121 laps total at this facility. However, he has not led tonight. Danica Patrick's kind of fallen back from those 4 and now finds herself about 2.2 seconds behind.
I think that's a case that her first initial setup was the best of the group. When they all fell off, she went to the front. They're going to have to keep tuning. And, of course, her teammate, Tony Kanaan, team leader when it comes to setting up these cars, and they obviously have a good setup this evening.
This coming Wednesday night at Eldora Speedway, owned of course by Tony Stewart. We'll get to that later as we have Simona Di Silvestro against the safer barrier.
A lot of flash and flame coming out of there.
And those flames are usually caused by oil.
But look at how much is up on the right front.
Oh, yeah,
there.
this is
that's not good.
a little more serious than an oil fire, I'm afraid. Let's
get
the fire.
Wow.
Jeez, we got to get her out of there, but quick.
Come on, come on.
Having a little bit of difficulty doing so.
Go, get her out, get her out.
Let's get the flames retarded here, shall we? Man.
There's an extinguisher bottle. Come on, get it on there.
Having just all kinds of difficulty getting her out of the race car.
You need to get the head restraint out, and they were trying to do so, but it was binding, and it is very difficult to get out of these cars. Obviously, the team is livid.
Yeah. But there she is. She's out, so that's great.
Yeah, of course, the driver's suits protect in flames to a certain degree. But that was a major, major fire. I haven't seen a fire in an IndyCar like that in quite a while.
I was expecting, and I said sort of nonchalantly, well, that's usually from a gearbox or from an oil cooler. It catches fire, and then by the time it comes to stop, it just goes out by itself.
You got the hot headers. It explodes. The oil gets on there, and it's kind of a flash fire.
Well, what it did was it caught the bodywork on fire, and then, of course, it grew instead of just dissipating. Is still intact. And there's 2 clips that you have to undo and lift that out, and your head is almost a force fit in there, because you saw Jack with the bowling balls talking about that kind of G-force. You actually, it's a press fit for the helmet. We've got to get that head restraint out of there to make easy exit. Eventually they just forget it, try to turn her sideways, and you could see yank her out of the car.
Yeah, which is painful.
Yes.
I mean, that's a small gap to do it, but, you know, they had to get her out of there. And like you say, to get those clips off of there,